There comes a point in some men's lives when the world outside keeps moving, but inside, something begins to step back, not in anger, not in rejection, not even in choice, but in quiet survival. And if you are his lady, you may have felt that shift long before he ever spoke it. A slow withdrawing of himself from conversations that feel too sharp, from expectations that feel too heavy, that ask more from him than his spirit has the energy to give. From the outside, it can look like indifference, a man becoming distant, quieter, harder to reach. And for his lady, the challenge is not to feel that it is about her, but inside him, a very different story is unfolding. A man who once spoke freely now measures every word so nothing breaks loose. A man who once laughed easily now holds his breath through moments he lives inside. A man who was present now drifts slightly to the edges of his own life, just enough to hold himself together for one more day. People say men don't talk, but many men were never given a language for the things that live inside them. They learned instead to carry, to absorb, to endure, and to call it strength. They were the rock, even when breaking, dependable, even when exhausted, silent, even when the noise inside them was louder than anyone knew. And when the weight grows heavy and he begins to pull back from the world, it is not because he does not care. It is because somewhere along the way, he believed the only safe place was inside himself. There is a loneliness that lives in this kind of distance, the kind where a man sits at the same table, lives in the same house, shares the same moments, but feels as if he is standing a few quiet steps away from everything. Not gone, not disconnected, but guarded. And for his lady, there can be another loneliness, trying not to take the distance personally, fighting the rising conflict inside herself, wondering if the space means love is fading, when often reaching the inner stranded man is the answer. Because for many men, being guarded, holding his world in place, is the only way he was ever taught to survive. If this is reaching you, and you recognize yourself here, or you are the lady living alongside that silence, then you are both standing inside something real. Neither he nor you are weak. You are not broken, and you are not alone in this. Whether you are hearing this as the man or as his lady, the bridge can begin with something small. A note left on the kitchen table, a hand placed without demand, a sentence that says, "I'm here." For him, it may be the weight of years spent holding himself together without a place to put the truth down. For you, his lady, it may be the ache of not feeling like his chosen lady anymore, misreading distance as rejection, and carrying your own quiet hurt. The distance is not indifference. It is not coldness. It is how many men, until very recent generations, were taught to survive. And if you are the man at the center of this, and you have stayed with these words this far, this part is for you. Reach toward your lady, even if the words come slowly, even if they arrive in fragments. And beyond your home, there are other men, guys, blokes, fellas, buddies, however your tribe speaks, men who have walked this same road, who faced unknowns that once felt impossible to cross, who built their way through the fear, who came out the other side with scars and wisdom, the kind of lived experience that becomes a roadmap for others, so the weight does not have to be carried alone. And here is the quiet truth we all recognize. Silence spreads, distance spreads, but so does courage. One honest sentence can steady a household. One shared truth can protect a family. One man choosing to speak can quietly change a generation behind him. The load grows lighter with every story spoken aloud. And maybe tonight, nothing dramatic needs to happen. No conversations or perfect words, just awareness, just the understanding that behind silence, there may be a man trying to hold everything together the only way he ever learned how. And that understanding, on its own, can begin to change the atmosphere. Inner roads exists because many of us have already lived through chapters of life we did not fully understand at the time. We speak now from years traveled, across countries, across working lives, across real experience, not to instruct, and certainly not because we have all the answers, but because some of what we learned, often the hard way, might help someone feel better prepared than we once were. If this conversation speaks to you, subscribe, not as a transaction, but as participation. Your reflections are invited. We read them. We respond. The insight shared here comes from people who once wished someone had been there during times of regretted stress, but no one was. That is why this exists now. If you are navigating friction in family life, whether as a couple, a single parent, a grandparent, or simply someone trying to do better, you are not alone. We offer perspective earned slowly, and we will continue walking these roads, learning together.